Hello and welcome to Exhibit A, and we are very privileged to have Paul Little, the CEO of the Pasadena Chamber of Commerce, with us today. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate this.
Well, I want to thank you because I know you're an extremely busy man, and to have somebody that's an integral part of the Pasadena community on my little show is really a feather in my cap. So thanks for coming here. Today what we're going to talk about is the 23 reasons to join the Pasadena Chamber of Commerce. And I'm just going to say this, Paul, as you know, that I've been a member for several years now, but it took a while for me to become a member of the Chamber. I didn't know, number one, what the benefits were. Number two, I didn't know that it wasn't that costly. I mean, it's really inexpensive to join. And the other thing is that, you know, I didn't feel like I fit because I thought that it was some highbrow organization, and, you know, it's just common people that are, you know, running their businesses, and it's really a great opportunity to be a part of the community. So we're going to dig in. We're going to talk about the 23 reasons. But first, let's talk about you. Okay. I did a little bit of research before you came here today, went on the Pasadena Chamber of Commerce website, and I will say this, that is one of the most impressive websites I've seen in a long time, and I really mean that. I mean, as you know, I'm the former bar president. We have our own little website, and I've seen other organizations, but you really did a good job of organizing that.
The guy, Steve Torres, who is our web designer and, I don't know, maintenance and upkeep guy, is very creative, and he likes to try new things. And he really put together what I think anyway is a pretty dynamic website. You know, given we're the Chamber of Commerce. We started in 1888, and so there's certain information you want people to be able to get. You know, how do you join? What are the benefits? What's happening with the chamber? But we also have a news feed on the front of the website that feeds local business news, and a lot of other things. So we have a pull-down menu for businesses, which has sort of helpful links and information on how to either start a business, grow a business. If you're having issues, where to find solutions to your problems. So we try to. Can't be everything for everybody, but we really try to make our website functional and useful and helpful for our members as well as the public, because we have a business directory that gets, we get 6,000 visits a week to the website, and 2/3 of the people essentially are going to the business directory looking for everything from family law attorneys to restaurants and where to stay. Accountants, bookkeepers, stores, all of that kind of stuff. So basically, 4,000 people a week are looking at that business directory, which directly supports our members. And 2/3 of those people, 62% of those people are new, which means they've never actually come to the Chamber website before, which means, potentially there's a new client, a new customer, a new collaborator out there who's looking for you on our website.
Yeah, what I love is the fact that you are paying attention to the stats. I know, just for clarification to our audience, I am privileged to have been invited to serve on the board, and I meet with Paul and the rest of the board members at least once a month. Sometimes it's twice a month in other events. But you're actually watching the stats, and that's really good information to know that the public goes to the website to gather information, to get referrals and things of that nature. So, I didn't mean to really start off with a talk about the website, but people really, if you want to know about the chamber, go to that website because it's very, very impressive.
Pasadena-chamber.org.
Yeah. So let's talk about you. Okay, so I didn't know this until after I was on the board, but you served on the Pasadena City Council for 3 terms, and the board of the Los Angeles Pasadena Metro Construction Authority as well. So you were really involved in politics for a while before you became the president and CEO of the chamber.
Which has nothing to do with politics whatsoever.
Well, yeah. Actually, it's ideal. And that's what I found interesting as I got to know the organization, because really you happen to know what's going on in town, you know who the players are, you know about the controversies, and somehow you've got to walk a fine line to keep all people happy all the time, right? You know.
Well, we do our best to maintain good relationships. It doesn't always work, but by and large, we have a positive relationship with the city council. We have a positive relationship with the supervisor's office, Catherine Barger, who represents the area here, as well as our state legislators and even the legislators on the federal level. And we really do try to maintain a good relationship. We Chamber doesn't take positions in support or opposition to individual candidates for office, but we do take positions on issues which can get us a little bit sideways sometimes of elected folks. The other thing we really do is have a very good relationship with staff, especially in the city. Because honestly, the elected folks are, policymakers, guide setters, but the people who really do the nuts and bolts work are the staff. And when our members have a question about, something, we can point them at the right staff member. When they have an issue, we can, if not resolve it, at least find out what's going on and help our members get through it. And we've done that with, folks who've wanted to expand their businesses, folks who wanted to start businesses here, people who move and need to do tenant improvements, folks who are building developments. We don't go in and, bang our shoe on the desk and say, you have to do this for our member. What we really try to do is be the ambassador between the public who doesn't necessarily know how processes work in government, and the city staff who, for the most part, are there really trying to help people. They have a job to do, they have rules and regulations to follow, but they really are focused on, getting a positive resolution to whatever the issue may be.
Yeah, and the chamber is that, like you said, is the ambassador in a lot of ways from the private sector to the public sector, and perhaps even the other way around. I know that some of your events, you have public officials, attending and giving, some information, and then likely, a lot of times we see them in the audience as well, and that's, I think, was telling about you though, having the background in the government the way that you have really helps. Now, you're from a different state, right?
I grew up in Connecticut.
And how long have you been out here in the great state of California?
Since 1982.
And what brought you out here?
It took me 4 colleges to get 2 degrees. The last one was University of Texas. I got a master's in communications, film and television production at UT. My wife was in the education program there. We got married when we were in graduate school, and she was recruited by the LA School District.
Cool. She recently retired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About a little over a year ago.
Okay. And I also know that you served in the public sector in public relations and communications.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of, again, it's a perfect background for somebody in your position, because that's what you're dealing with, is you're dealing with the public and you're disseminating information on behalf of the chamber. So let's talk about why people want to join the Pasadena Chamber, or they should want to know. And I just want to say this, is that, as you know, I'm a family law attorney. I have a lot of clients that either have businesses or people that are leaving relationships and they want to start something fresh. And a lot of people, like I did when I went through my divorce, it was like, I've always wanted to be in the private sector. Where do I start? And folks need to know that there is a resource, a really huge resource for a little bit of money they could invest in, and that's the Pasadena Chamber. So we're not going to go through all 23. I'm not going to torture people and go through all 23, but I think that people should know that you have this on that website. And I've printed it out here, and I'd like to just go through some of them. So the first one that you talk about it here is the Pasadena Chamber of Commerce helps you grow your business and enhance your prosperity. Could you talk about how that happens?
Well, and that's kind of, we as I said, we started out as the Board of Trade in 1888. The chamber has a mission statement, which is to support to be an economic and political voice for our members, force for our members. That goes back to essentially 1888. So that's kind of sacrosanct. But what we do is try to do a sort of a vision, and really the vision of the chamber is to be that support mechanism to enhance the prosperity of our members, however they define it. Because we have a lot of nonprofits who are members, and for them, expanding their mission, being able to serve more people, fundraising, obviously, but those kind of things are not necessarily profit driven the way a plumbing company might be. So what we really try to do with our members is find out what they need, find out who their customers and clients are, find out who maybe they could collaborate with, so that everybody prospers, and get them to work together. We do as I said, our website's very robust, so a lot of referrals come through the website. You may not even know that the client that calls up on Monday seeking your services got you through the Pasadena Chamber. But what we really try to do is work individually with the members. And our members are, we're essentially 1,400 plus members. We have Kaiser, we have Parsons, we have Huntington Hospital, Wells Fargo. We have some very big client members who get a sort of their needs with the chamber are different than smaller businesses. Right. But 90% of our members are small businesses, mostly locally owned. Some sole proprietors, home-based businesses, a lot of that. So what we're really trying to do is expand their reach and opportunity into the community. If you search, plumbing Pasadena, one of the top things on the Google search will be the Pasadena Chamber listings for plumbers in Pasadena.
Wow.
That kind of stuff. So what we try to do really is promote our members, connect our members. Somebody calls up, we only recommend to members. There are times people call up and ask for something that we don't have a member who does that, and we may refer them at that point, but generally not. We also try as ourselves to live the rule. We try to do business with our members. If I have a lunch meeting, it's in a member restaurant. If we need an electrician, it's with a member electrician. The folks that do our internet service are a chamber member. Our phone service is with a chamber member. We really try to make sure that we do as much as possible, live the talk that we walk.
Yeah, yeah. So when we became members, you guys had a ribbon cutting ceremony here, and I was floored. I mean, it was the coolest thing in the world. And can you describe that service that you provide to the members?
Well, those are fun. We actually had one last night. One of our members, a school, relocated from Pasadena to Eagle Rock. And so we went over and did a ribbon cutting. We have a group of volunteers called ambassadors who support a lot of our activities as volunteers. They're sort of our, somewhat the face of the chamber. And we also have staff, and we have the great big gold scissors.
Yeah, I've got a picture of me standing next to you cutting that thing.
Yeah, and it's fun. We bring people out. We encourage the members to bring them out. We'll cut a ribbon for virtually anything. We have members who are located 20, 30 miles away, and we'll do a ribbon cutting at our office for folks. It's a ceremony, it's a photo op, it's fun, but it's one of those things that basically says we're here, we're open. Yeah, let's go.
I got to tell you that when you guys came here, we had a lot of people that stopped on by, and they still refer to that event as to how they know about my business. I mean, honestly, it was a big deal for us, and I think that people should be aware that you guys are very generous in doing that.
It's fun, and we don't charge any extra for it. It's a member benefit.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, we ought to be out there celebrating one new members for us, which we appreciate. Financially, that's our foundation. But also, new businesses opening, people relocating, expanding. Those are things to celebrate in the community because the businesses in the community really support a lot more than just their customers and the landlord they're paying rent to. Businesses employ people in the community. Businesses support nonprofits in the community to a large extent. Businesses, pay utilities, they pay taxes, they pay all sorts of things that support other activities in the community. They're a reason people come here. We have one of our members, Roman's Bookstore, which has been in the past the top independent bookseller in the country, named, I think, by Publishers Weekly. But that's a draw. People come from all over Southern California, and sometimes, from all over the world, not specifically necessarily for Romans, but Romans is a stop on the itinerary because it's such a well-known institution. So we're there trying, if they need something, we're there to support them. They do a lot of fun activities and events. Part of what businesses do in Pasadena and the area is attract people who may then go to other businesses or go to a museum or do something else, eat in a restaurant. That kind of thing. So the economic fallout from local businesses here in Pasadena is tremendous.
Yeah, and we're spoiled. I mean, there's a reason why you and I live and work in this area here. And it's because Pasadena, in my opinion, is one of the greatest cities in the United States. I mean, not a very large population in California terms, 140,000 people, but look at the institutions. You talked about the institution of Romans. What about JPL, Caltech? The Rose Bowl, the Tournament of Roses.
Yeah.
I mean, just on and on and on. I mean, the great hospital we have here. I mean, it's just it's a place where 80% of your members who are small business owners like me get to not only meet people from those institutions, but a lot of them become our customers, right? Because this is a very dynamic area. I mean, it's just a beautiful place, and I think that folks ought to know that the Chamber in Pasadena is really special because of these institutions that we are working with, particularly the Tournament of Roses. I'm going to talk to you about that a little bit later, about one of my favorite events. But let's move on with the 23 reasons to join. Okay. So you indicated that there's free referrals to member businesses. How much does it cost to join the chamber?
Well, it depends on how many employees you have. The base level for a small business is $265 a year.
Oh my God, it's a killer, man.
Yeah. And we try to keep it competitive.
It's very competitive.
Especially, small businesses that are starting up, every penny counts.
Sure.
So the other thing we really try to make sure is that when you invest that $265 in the chamber, you get a lot back. And the 23 reasons are all well and good, but there's 1,000 reasons to join the chamber. If you're a member of the Chamber of Commerce and you have that plaque on the wall, your customers just assume that you are a stable, reputable business that's an important part of the community, which you are.
And you're saying something that I wanted to really emphasize here is that as a business owner, I think it's really important that we are a member of the community. People don't want to, patronize you if they think that you're an island to yourself. They want to know that you care about the community and you're part of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, quite honestly, folks who join the Chamber of Commerce aren't your fly-by-night, hit-and-run, scammer sorts of people.
Yeah.
They're just not. There's no point. They wouldn't join a chamber because there's no point, and all they really want to do is take money out and go. Our members are, we just celebrated someone, we were the Board of Trade in 1919. We became the Chamber of Commerce. We celebrated a company's 100th anniversary with the chamber, continuous membership with the chamber. And
go ahead and say the company.
Oh, I was going to. It's Anderson Business Technology, which started out as Anderson Typewriter
we use
Company.
Them here.
Yeah, we use them too. They do our copiers. It's a business that's been here for a long time. Typewriters are a collector's item now, but the other thing they've been able to do is adapt, adjust, and evolve as the needs of local businesses changed. And they're, a going concern. And they're such nice people. I mean, I just got to tell you, they're really nice people, local family, Dave, who runs it now, I think lives in Altadena. Our kids played soccer together. I've known them for years. They're a very nice family, but again, one of those businesses that's been around a long time. We have a couple of others that are around the 98-year mark. Anderson's was first because Elmer Anderson, who was running the company at the time, was one of the people that led the change from Board of Trade to the Chamber of Commerce.
Interesting.
So, they may have been, the first company to sign up. Your friend Tom Daly, as a matter of fact, who collects coins, but also he was somewhere and has and gifted us with a certificate number 1 of membership in the Board of Trade.
Holy cow!
In 1888,
wow.
It's on our wall. It's terrific, and the guy's Hurlbut, Hurlbut Street. At that point, back in 1888, the Board of Trade was really there to, attract business, attract economic activity to Pasadena in around the 19 teens. It became clear that wasn't really an important activity any longer. And so, again, they morphed into a Chamber of Commerce, which is much more, we're a membership organization, but much more supportive of the local economy and local businesses on a more individual level. Not to say that the Chamber of Commerce hasn't been involved in civic activities. One of my favorite political mailers, and I have a copy of it, the Chamber of Commerce did in the 1920s to support the bond measure to build City Hall, the library, and the Civic Auditorium. And you open it up, and it's a blueprint of City Hall. It's terrific. And they pushed, when the city was running out of money, they pushed for them to complete the Civic Auditorium because it wasn't just an auditorium. There was a big meeting space in there, and they wanted that exhibition hall to support local businesses and to support the local economy.
So what you're describing is something that I did want to emphasize as well, and that is that the Chamber, it really is an integral part of our community here in Pasadena. And the best example of that to me is the President's Breakfast that I'd love to go to. I'm crazy about that event, even though I don't like waking up at 5 in the morning so I could attend a 7 o'clock breakfast that we have every year. But could you describe that event?
Well, President's Breakfast is an event we do this year. It's the first Thursday in December. We're doing it at the Hilton this year. And it's a breakfast honoring the president of the Tournament of Roses. For the community, it's an opportunity to actually hear from the president of the Tournament of Roses, Laura Farber, this year, who's an attorney at Hahn & Hahn, another long-term chamber member.
Right.
But it's an opportunity to hear from her about her experiences, the things that really made an impression on her during her year as president.
Let me just jump in with that before I forget. That's one of the best parts of the event is you feel like you're an insider. You're sitting there and you're hearing the president of the Tournament of Roses talking about what's gone on over the past year and what the parade is going to look like and what the game's going to look like. And the world is about to descend on this beautiful place within a matter of a couple of weeks, right? And you're there and you're with the people that organized it. And that comes with being a member of the chamber. And it's exciting. It's exciting to be part of that community. But so anyways, you also have the queen and the princesses there.
Yeah, the queen and court are there, which is actually nice. Folks who... there's a basic ticket level cost, which I think $75, but you can sponsor a table and sit with one of the members of the Queen and Court and hear from them firsthand what their experience has been like, because those young women have a pretty intense couple of months, which, honestly, they love it. They get a lot out of it, but they're doing a lot of service in the community, meeting a lot of people, and having some fun experiences. I didn't know until a couple of years ago they get to go in the blimp.
Oh my gosh, I
never got to ride in the blimp. I'm like, I'll do that. I'd love to ride in the blimp. That kind of stuff, along with the ceremonial things they do and everything else. So it's really sort of fun and interesting. But again, the highlight really is to hear from, this year, Laura, about, why she chose the theme that she chose,
Yeah.
which is sometimes really interesting to hear. Where they've been, the stories of some of the bands that are coming. How the certain things are put together. Favorites among any number of things. So it's, as you said, it's kind of a little bit of an insider's view that the public doesn't necessarily get to hear.
Not at all. Not at all. And speaking of that, my other favorite event is the Business and Economic Development Conference. I think I'm calling it the right thing, that we have on an annual basis as well. I should know because I'm going to be chairing it this year. But that's another insider's view, because the chamber has speakers come. And this is just one of many events that the chamber has, by the way. And we'll talk about, quickly about some of the other events that they have. But I wanted to highlight this, is that's at the University Club. And we have people talking about the trends, what you're looking at as far as development, and some of the issues that business owners are going to want to know. I mean, it really, I would hope, at least for me, it gives me some insight as to, what's laying out there in the future. What are some of the developments and changes that are taking place? Can you talk a little bit about how that came about and how successful that's been?
Well, it started out as a partnership with the city of Pasadena, who supported the event up until this year. And we have Verizon actually stepped in to financially support the event, which is great. Keeps the ticket price down. What we do is it's the Business and Economic Summit. It's a lunch at the University Club. We have a keynote speaker. This year it's Samjita Mitra, who is essentially the lead economist at the Los Angeles Economic Development Corporation. And she's really good speaker, and she'll talk about trends in the economy, globally, nationally, but really focused on LA County and Pasadena area. What are those things that are going to affect our economy positively? What are those things we need to be concerned about? What are the trends that we can expect over the short term and the longer term? This is going to be an interesting one because we're rolling into an election year, which can have some impacts on the economy and businesses, and sort of sometimes be just a distraction. But we're also, is the trade war with China, how's that going to impact the local economy? Because so much of what we depend on here for business activity starts at the Port of LA and the Port of Long Beach. It's the import business and logistics. Is that going to have an impact? Are we, economists are kind of divided. Are we looking at potentially a recession in the next couple of years or not? And what are those kind of things that maybe we should watch on that? We're going to hear actually about 5G technology.
I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah, but actually, it's going to have a potentially huge impact because what it does is takes what's essentially slow internet technology and communication technology and just turns it into hyperspeed. So those transactions, those things that maybe take time, won't take the kind of time.
It means we're going to be working faster and harder then.
Well, but the bandwidth will also be so much larger that your internet service won't slow down anymore because there are 15 other people down the line that are using it at the same time. And it's also, that's what's going to enable things like self-driving cars.
I can't wait. I can't wait for this session. What's the date on this, by the way?
October 22nd.
And one last thing about this particular meeting is we're going to talk about a destination Pasadena. Mm-hmm. Pasadena always has been a place where people want to visit. And we're going to talk about, whether that still exists and what's the future of the hotel mm-hmm. industry and things of that nature.
Yeah, we're really sort of asking the big question: will Pasadena's prosperity endure? And so Mike Ross from the Convention and Visitors Bureau and the Convention Center is going to talk about the hospitality industry and tourism and convention business, and what are the things that may positively or negatively impact that, and what are they seeing happen. We have Colleen Carey from Lee and Associates. She's a local commercial real estate broker. She's going to talk about what's happening with restaurant, retail, and office space here in
A
Pasadena.
lot of it's changing.
Good, bad, and indifferent.
Yeah.
Including touching on we just legalized here in Pasadena recreational marijuana retail sales. What's that going to do? Is it going to have any impact? What can we look for related to that business? Which a lot of people are curious about.
Yeah, yeah. We're running out of time. I want to talk about some of the things that the chamber does that really goes under the radar as far as meetings. Networking is obviously very important to business people, and it's like anything else. It's what you make out of it. And quite frankly, there's more meetings than most people know about that's going on with the chamber. Could you describe some of the regular things that the chamber hosts?
Well, we're busy. We do 3 networking events a month. The first Wednesday we do a networking lunch. The second Thursday we do a networking breakfast, and each of those are they have different moderators, but each is specifically sort of choreographed so that everyone who attends gets a chance to give their elevator speech, and also meet other business people. So it is really an opportunity to, promote your business and meet potential collaborators and customers and clients. But the other real benefit to it is that the folks who attend get to know you. And so, they may not necessarily need a family law attorney, for example, but when the neighbor 3 doors down and the wife are throwing pots and pans at each other.
That never happens in Pasadena.
No.
Come on.
Well, no, but Arcadium and Romeo over there. But when a couple's having challenges and issues, if they know Don Schweitzer, they will then maybe turn around, and when those the wife comes down and says, enough of this. Do you know anybody? They'll say, well, I know this guy, Don, that I've met. He's a member of the Chamber of Commerce, been in a lawyer in Pasadena for 15 years?
More than that now.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to reveal my age, Paul. Come on, man.
No. I wasn't asking your age.
Okay. 2003 is when we started, so we're very happy to say
16 years.
Yeah, there we go. Good,
but
good
but
math.
that's good. I was close. But the point is, that people like to work with people they know. They like to work with people they like. And those are the folks they like to refer because they're comfortable. I know you. If somebody calls and says, I need a family law attorney, I say, well, I know Don Schweitzer, terrific guy, been in here a long time, and very good reputation, and a very supportive chamber member. And that chamber member thing, again, means a lot to people. From the public, potential customers.
Like you said, it shows that you're not just a passerby or somebody that's, here one day and gone the next. Let's conclude with this. The other thing that folks don't know about the chamber that I was really happy to find out is that the chamber cares about the community and does things for the community, such as the financial. I forget the name of the term, but it's where you are giving information to young people about their finances. You also have job fairs, and things like that. Can you talk about some of the community things that aren't necessarily like, dealing with business people, but are dealing with the folks out there that, need lessons and or services that we try to provide them?
Mm-hmm. We do a thing, we call it 6th grade cents. And we're very clever. The S is a dollar sign and the C is a cent sign. 6th grade cents, we do it with middle schoolers here in the Pasadena Unified School District, 6th graders. And it's a basic financial literacy program. We're reworking it this spring to change it up a little bit, make it a little more dynamic for the students. We work with Wells Fargo, who sponsors these for us, and it brings basic financial literacy to 6th graders. What is credit? What does a bank do? How does a checking account work? How do you budget? The very basic level for 6th graders. The idea being that, though, that you're giving kids at least some idea of how money works, how to be responsible with your finances. It's not always a good idea to spend it as soon as you get it. So we talk about financial goals and those kind of things on a level that's appropriate for sixth graders. But the idea being that as they go on, when they do have a job, they'll think, well, I'd love to have the candy today, but if I don't have that, maybe I can, buy that car 2 years from now, or save for college, which we really, the other thing we really try to do with that program is bring people in who work for the bank, but younger people, because the other thing they talk about is, this is the job I do, this is the background I had to get it, and this is an opportunity that you could have as well. So we try to give the sixth graders some sense of what, the future could hold for them in any number of different ways. We do that. We do a whole lot of programs for our members, but a lot of programs out in the community too, and a lot of programs that dovetail for both. Everything we do basically is open to the public. It may cost $5 more to go to one of the networking lunches or breakfasts. We do a mixer every month as well, which is a networking event, which is much more social and free for chamber members to attend. But same thing, people get a chance to meet other folks and network and talk about what they do. We really have two goals. One is to make the members as prosperous as they possibly can, but support the economy here locally. A vibrant, economic situation here in Pasadena is good for me as a homeowner. It's good for you as a business owner. It's good for the city as a municipality, and it's basically good for everybody. We do events to support restaurants because we have a lot of restaurants who are members. We do a lot of things trying to support our members who want to be more environmentally friendly in their business. We have on that same website, 10 things you can do to green your business that don't cost you a lot of money. That kind of stuff. So we're involved in those kind of things. We do want a healthier community. We want Pasadena to be a place that people want to live and continue to live. And we want it to be a place where people can find work and opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, Paul, I think we've run out of time, unfortunately, but I want to thank you again for joining us. That was an amazing summary of what the Chamber does. And for all of our members out there, I could tell you that just give it a try. I mean, if you want to get involved in the community, if you're a business owner or you're thinking about starting a business, or if you want to take advantage of the many opportunities here, there is unlimited resources from the Chamber. And I would definitely want to thank you and thank all the small staff that you actually have for doing such a great job. And we'll see you at the next Chamber meeting.
Terrific. Well, thank you again for doing this. We really appreciate it. And, we're always on the other end of the phone, email. You can find all of the contact info on that website, pasadena-chamber.org. And I appreciate it, Don, very much for the opportunity to be here.
Okay. Thank you for joining us.